Good Sunday to you. Beryl continues to move closer and closer to Texas. And look, not only Texas will be feeling the impacts. We're going to see impacts further to the north and east of this with big-time rains and even tornadoes pushing us far north, I think even into Arkansas. And look at the heat across the west. 130 for multiple days in Death Valley, California. Just incredibly hot across the west. And many areas will be in the 110s again today, tomorrow, and the following day. So crazy heat. Here's the official forecast on Beryl, though. Right now, tropical storm kind of disorganized in the Gulf, but expected to become a hurricane as it gets closer to shore here. A slew of hurricane warnings up along the Texas coast. Weather.gov is where you need to go to get the latest warnings, advisories for your area. A slew of tropical storm warnings, too, to the east and south of this landfall area here. And it's going to be a wide impact area. Now, again, off to the north and east, I still think you're going to see impacts. And especially on the east side of this storm, we're going to have a tornado risk. A lot of wind shear, especially with those feeder bands that pull into the hurricane. That's going to be on the table tonight, tomorrow, maybe even into Tuesday, further north and east. Eventually, this thing gets caught up in the upper level stream and moves off to the northwest. As far as storm surge goes, peak storm surge forecast anywhere between 2 to 4 feet, and then that really picks up here along the central Texas coast. Galveston Bay expected to be 3 to 5 feet, and then look, up to 6 feet all the way down that central Texas coast, 3 to 5 feet here along the Corpus Christi Bay area. And then off to the north of that, again, that system will be impacting you into other parts of Texas. College Station, we're going to see rain. Victoria, wind and rain here too. And this system is moving into an environment that doesn't have a lot of wind shear. And that's one of the reasons I think that some of these short-range models are picking up on this rapid intensification as this storm moves closer to shore. One thing, not just the wind shear, that you need to think about. So if you go to the beach right now, especially along the Texas coast, these waters are really, really warm. It's probably peak heating time, at least getting close to that here along the Texas Gulf Coast. And look what happens. As this encounters that warm water, the models are picking up on that rapid intensification right here, right before it makes landfall. In fact, some of them holding that intensification and kind of continuing it as it moves ashore. So we may be seeing the actual strongest point of the storm as it moves into the Texas coast. Once it moves here, it moves inland. So again, College Station, and I think the center of the circulation will move very close to Texarkana and then pull northeast toward Little Rock. At this point, we have reduced our wind speed significantly, but still some damaging winds possible along the center of this. And I think off to the east side of this, where you get these feeder bands kind of coming in like this, you're going to have the potential for some decent downbursts and also some tornadoes, because a lot of wind shear will be out there with that change of wind direction with height. And then again, that center of circulation moving very close here now, to Little Rock, and then northeast of that into parts of southern Indiana, southern parts of Illinois, and then off to the northeast. At that point, really not a wind threat. It's going to be windy and breezy, but the main threat will be the rain, quite a bit of rain as this storm gets picked up by this trough. That was my cat. She's an elderly cat. She wants me to hold her so bad. Yes. So let me put her down and we'll continue. Okay, we've got this trough here that's swinging through the center part of the country. That's going to be picking up Beryl. That's really going to be the driving force for this storm, or what's going to be left of it. In fact, it's going to become extra tropical and lose those tropical characteristics as it moves off to the north and east eventually toward the Great Lakes, but not before bringing a lot of heavy rain. This is the latest GFS, also showing that the idea of this low moving right across Texarkana, then Little Rock, and then into parts of Illinois and Indiana with some heavy rain possible. Numbers 5, 6, 7 inches, maybe even locally higher amounts across parts of East Texas along the center of the circulation. And then look at this, big rains into parts of Missouri, Indiana, Illinois, and with a further north track. At least that's kind of what the GFS is hinting at. This storm may come further north just because of that trough pulling it further north. That would put that heavy rain band closer to Chicago, northern parts of Indiana, and then into parts of Michigan. I think this area is still really in question as to where that heavy rain band sets up, but certainly looking likely now from Missouri down into Arkansas and Texas. We're also looking at those drought conditions here in the east. Maybe some relief on the way here too, not because really of Beryl, but just because of our change of weather pattern that we're going to see. Now, this is precipitable water. This is if you took the water from the bottom of the atmosphere to the top and squeezed it all out. So it's a good measure of moisture. It doesn't use relative humidity, which is relative to temperature. But look at the moisture now starting to increase across the East Coast. You've got to have the moisture to have the rain, right? So we see that. And then we have Beryl moving here to the north. There'll actually be some sinking air, I think, just off to the southeast of Beryl. So, places like Kentucky, Tennessee may not see as much rain. And we're moisture starved in some of these areas. To the east of that, we've got a bit of a low here off the East Coast. So some convergence here. That's winds kind of coming together here. The wind's coming in like this. You have a little bit of wind coming in like this, and it has to go somewhere. It can't go down, right? So it goes up, and that could form thunderstorms. I think that increases the chance of rain in areas that are very, very dry, and that would be right here along the East Coast. All that moisture moving north and east, that's tropical moisture now moving into parts of southern Canada as we move into the end of the week as Beryl quickly accelerates. Severe weather on the table today, Sunday, here across Oklahoma, parts of Texas, and we are seeing the influence of Beryl too. Some tornadoes possible as we move through the day, and that's going to be because of that wind shear here along the coast of Texas and then inland too as we see those feeder bands move in. So just have a way to get weather alerts today. It's definitely going to be a weather-aware day. You need to keep up to date with what's going on. And then the tornado risk shifts a little bit further to the east tomorrow. So if our low is here, for example, you're going to have these feeder bands coming in like this. So anywhere within those bands, you could have rotating thunderstorms, rotating cells, and that could spin up a quick tornado. A quick look at the future radar through Sunday. These storms across Oklahoma could get pretty strong today, and then here comes Beryl into Texas. Just a huge rainmaker here across East Texas. And then there's those feeder bands kind of coming in into parts of Texas today, and they expand tomorrow into Louisiana and then eventually into Arkansas too, as our low now expected to move right across again, Texarkana into Arkansas, and then northeast of that. By this point, we're starting to lose those tropical characteristics. You've just got a low somewhere here. But, do we see a tornado risk further north? Maybe so. It's something to keep an eye on. Here's a look at the East Coast as we move through your Sunday afternoon. More storms across the Carolinas, more so here across central and western North Carolina and South Carolina into the mountains. The coastal plain is very dry, but I do think we will see a chance of rain at some point this week. It may be scattered, but again, there will at least be some moisture around. Can we get enough lift to squeeze out some thunderstorms? That's to be seen. And then here comes the moisture from Beryl here moving through the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, eventually toward the Great Lakes. Across the west, it's baking. We've talked some about this. Look at these highs in California. There's Death Valley. That's 120 plus. Some areas getting close to 130. And I think even into the Central Valley, the southern Central Valley here, down into the southern parts of California, we could push in close to 120 easy. The only relief right along the coast where you can get that sea breeze going with that cold East Pacific air mass, temperatures likely in the 70s. So if you want to cool down, head to the beaches. And it's going to be hot across the north too, the northwest. Look at these highs across eastern Oregon and eastern Washington. And east and really west of the Cascades, we are looking at triple-digit heat here, so very hot. Across the east, a decently hot day. We've got more clouds here. That's going to keep temperatures cool, but look at this, mid-90s, I think, from D.C., close to 90 up to New York, and then typically hot here across the south. A little cooler right here along the coast with some of that really easterly flow here for the beaches. All right, that's all I got for now. Again, be safe out there. Have a way to get warnings today. Weather.gov is where you need to go to get those. And if you've not subscribed, I hope you come back here. And I hope you enjoyed the analysis today. Have a great day.